Well, hello and welcome to the Heat Army podcast. First one outdoors, Mickey.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
It is. It's quite tropical here in Gateshead today. So
It's certainly been tropical today.
it is. It is. Well, as I say, if you're listening on Spreaker, it'll be exactly the same. But if you're joining us on Facebook, hello and welcome to the Heat Army podcast. Doing it a little bit different today because obviously it's the summer and we can sit out here and show off our legs to everyone listening and watching on Facebook. But just to introduce the Heat Army podcast, it's all about Gateshead Football Club, of course. If you haven't been with us before, you can message the show. It is fully interactive at Heat_Army on Twitter, and also you can do it on the Spreaker website if you're listening on there, as James M. Gowland has done. He's put evening, lads. So hello there.
Good evening, James.
Plenty to talk about tonight, Mickey. Playoffs have been confirmed. Brackley, before we came on air, about an hour before, confirmed they are going to be taking part in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They put a statement out on their website. We've got Mark Crovers joining us in about 10 minutes. He's going to ring up a local journalist to talk about the playoffs. Then at 9:30, someone who I was hoping to reach out to have him on the podcast, but reached out to us, which is fantastic, Ben Clark. We're going to have him on. He's going to talk about the Gateshead FC Foundation. And also, we'll be going down memory lane room and asking listener questions. And also, as well, we had a phone guest last week, Jack, the Brackley fan. Who
spoke a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're going to be speaking to him again. Obviously, we've just had that statement there. I don't think he had heard on the grapevine that there was going to be... that was going to be confirmed they're going to be taking part, and they are at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and I think provisionally as well, 18th and 19th of July, or 17th or 18th of July, around about that
18th and 19th,
18th and 19th will be the games broadcast on BT Sport.
Has that been confirmed?
They said there's been negotiations, and a lot of different places are saying yes, some are saying it's been negotiated, but it looks like it's going to happen. But that's all... to be confirmed. But Mickey, this time last week we were debating, thinking, is it going to happen? On Friday we found out.
Yeah, it was. We were debating whether it was worth the risk for the sake of the club, and the club. I think Neil's come out and spoke very well. He's come out and they've decided to go for it, and everything that they had planned for next season's budget won't be affected.
Yeah, and just talking about the budget as well, the budget booster ended on 8 a.m. Monday morning. Just over £18,500.
18,730.
An amazing thing, and that's that'll well go towards playing for a player next season, or whatever, however the club choose to use it for travel or whatever. But what a lump to put in the kitty for next year.
Well, we're going for 10,000, and my simple maths, £1,270 away from doubling it.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic, phenomenal effort by everybody.
It is,
especially those at the Soul.
Well, we've got people retweeting the show. If you want to message us on Twitter and interact with the show at Heat_Army. Also, as well, we will go to the Facebook messages to see if there has been any.
And make sure you check the chat facility when we will.
Questions. We've got to go through it all, because obviously it's another avenue to look for messages, but we do want to be fully interactive. And if you're a Brackley fan as well, please don't feel like you can't get in contact. Your team's involved in this as well, so we want you to get into it and probably what do you call it? I've just seen a tweet there. I don't know where it is, but at the moment, but hopefully we'll find out what that is. But yeah, it's fully interactive and on the Spreaker website if you're listening as normal. And also as well, if you're listening and you want to watch it, go over to Heat Army Podcast Live page on Facebook, and there we are. But Mickey, when it was confirmed we were taking part, I was like, wow, what a statement of intent. And since then as well, we've signed another player.
Yeah, Jack Hunter's back. Welcome back, Jack. Hopefully,
after a stint on the green side or the dark side, the Spartans.
Hopefully, he's only a young lad. I'm hoping getting more regular games has brought him on a lot more as a player. I don't mean that disparaging, but it's got to stand him in good stead if he's been playing more regular there. And like, he was on and off the bench the season before.
He made 36 appearances for us, which is no mean feat for someone that comes straight from academy football. Let's not forget. I mean, under 23s, he was playing the development leagues and things. He came in, he handled himself very well. And you would imagine that a year with Blythe, different type of football, different type of club scenario. That's not having a go at Blythe or anything. It is just they had a struggling season, so the season that we had the season before, of course. And you would hope and think that he's come along for the experience.
I would imagine it's done him the world of good. I mean, and if he's listening, I know he's beat with
Yeah.
on Boxing Day, we won't hold it against you much.
We've got a few messages on the Spreaker website. Thomas Boyles put, and what about Jack Hunter? He's signing. We could sign Devitt too after getting released by Blythe. Well, it was one of the players I did think we might have went after, but as I say, we've heard on the grapevine and that there's other players about to come to the club, but we'll not say any more on that because we'll let the club confirm that, and that's if it's true as well on the thing. But
well, judging by what Neil Pinkerton, I mean, I will call him Pinks. What Pinks had said on Mark's, was it Football Matters?
Football Matters, yeah.
He'd said that Borough, Huddersfield and Rotherham had been good to work with and they were hopeful. So let's hope, you could get Brad, you could get Jake and Domtia. Let's hope we're going to have them back. And maybe he never mentioned Harrogate. I'm hoping Liam Agnew will come back as well.
But as Lewis Wilkinson said on the Spreaker chat as well, he's put great to see two former Heat players and come back in Hunter and Smith. And like for like with the players that have went out in the positions, so we know what we're going to get from them. And hopefully with them being at the club before, they can settle back in.
I'll probably all still mates as well. So.
Yeah, and we're just seeing if there's any messages on Facebook. Not at the moment. Lots of people liking the live video, so do get in contact. Rory McGrath's put, interesting whether we can get Dom Tier on a free. We'd like to wish young terriers who are leaving the club. I'll have a look 1 second here. There's a tweet. It must be from the... Yeah, well, Dom Tier's been released by Harrogate, by Huddersfield.
Oh.
According to this tweet, a screenshot that we've been sent by Rory McGrath. So, who knows? You never know. We may be able to get him for a couple of games if he isn't going to want to go to a higher level. But
you would imagine someone like Dom will.
He would definitely be attracting the higher level.
He'll have his suitors, to be fair.
He will do. Well, say we are going to be having, Football Matters host and journalist extraordinaire Mark Rivers joining us very shortly, and also we're going to have Ben Clark as well. So if you've got any messages for Ben, of course, the man to lead out Gateshead at Wembley, absolute legend, club manager, and now running the Gateshead FC Foundation. So we're really looking forward to talking to him because we want to have him as a guest on the podcast for a long time, and he reached out to us before we could reach out to him, so that's even better.
It is. It's going to be nice to speak to Ben.
It is. And I say it's as we said the other week. Everything's positive and it's continuing in that vein at the moment.
I mean,
also we need a football match to spoil it.
It's normally the case, isn't it?
It certainly is. But if you want to get in contact at Heed_Army, we will open the phone lines later on as well. But we have got the 3 calls coming up. We've got Jack, the Brackley fan, as well, ringing later on at 10 to 9. So yeah, get involved. That's what it's all about. And just seeing if there's any more messages. Remember, it is fully interactive. We'd love to hear from you. Nothing as yet on Facebook, but we've got Mick Scully. But for me, Hunter has a lot to prove. He came first time with a good reputation, having been Newcastle captain, obviously for the under-23s or reserves as it was. Should I say it? He's never stamped his authority on games. I believe he is talented, but this could be his last chance to have a career in professional football. Well, he never let we're down. But at the same time, we had a lot of great. I mean, everyone in that team that season, obviously, 2 years ago, performed out the skin, and I don't think he had a bad time, but he didn't shine as bright as maybe some of the others. But that said, that was because other people were having an absolute blinder of a season.
Yeah, also coming out of the under-23 football, it's woeful, isn't it?
It is. It takes a long time for some. I mean, we were lucky that the year in the Unibond when we got Cave, Baxter, Gate.
Even they took a while to settle.
Yeah, Baxter took about 15 games. Cave I think he settled probably the quickest. Gate took a little while. I think good half a season for Gate to we could see the true Chris Gate, what we came to love and know, and helped us win promotion, of course.
Player Gatey.
There certainly was 2 promotions with him, and he scored in the playoff final as well. Let's not forget. At Heed_Army, if you'd like to tweet us. We're waiting for the call from Mark Carruthers at the moment. Heed lads, but great news about the playoffs. It shows what a strong foundation the club has now, that we can actually choose to take part, with assurances from Neil about next season. Good positive times now, and the Heed, ahead, regardless of the playoffs. Well, as I say, the playoffs is a bit of an icing on the cake, really.
It's a bonus.
Yeah,
Real bonus.
it certainly is.
It's going to be one thing's for sure. It's going to be really tough at Brackley.
Oh yeah, I mean this is the 3rd year in a row they've made the playoffs. We spoke to Jack, the Brackley fan, last week, and he did say that they only had 9 players, but as we've found out, you can still sign players, so they'll have targets in mind, as Gates would have. So it is going to be very interesting. But keep the messages coming in. That's what we want.
Be interesting to see what ask Jack if they've made any signings.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen anything yet. As I say, about 3 minutes past 8 this evening, before we just now before we came on, their statement did come out that they are raring to go for the playoffs, Brackley, and so it's going to be a good game. And hope, well, as I say, it looks like it's going to be on television on BT Sport or streamed by BT Sport, whether it's online or on TV. Hopefully, it's on TV.
Hope it's not one of these bloody pay-per-view thing.
I'd hope not, but let's say we'll find out very soon on that. We're still waiting for Mr. Carruthers to ring.
He's probably...
he had his legs out sunbathing today, so...
Didn't know
what
you want to say there.
He must have heard us. Hello, Mark.
Hi, David.
Hello there. I'll just turn you up a little bit on our end. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm good. I'll be honest, I didn't realise I had to ring you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's just as well you were listening there. Yes, I've told everyone else to ring us. It must have been you I didn't tell. Mark, what a strange week, or a strange end to the season, really. I think we all thought it was done and dusted. We had speculation in the playoffs last week. I think we spoke in private, and I think we both agreed that 90% it wouldn't happen. And then here we are a week later. It's confirmed, and Brackley have even confirmed tonight as well.
The thing that I've learned over the last 18 months is whatever you suspect will happen with the National League is quite the opposite will actually happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, never take anything for granted with the National League. Never take, just never presume they're going to do something. So, yeah, but I mean, the upshot of it is that the club are in the playoffs now. It is going to go ahead. As you said, Brackley have, I think, literally just before you came on air, have confirmed that they will be playing. So Brackley it is, and what a wonderful opportunity to round off a great season.
Yeah, as I said, we spoke last week. Obviously, the financial implications. We don't know the ins and outs. We know obviously it's going to cost money. As of the away side, we're presuming it isn't going to cost as much for ourselves to obviously not have to do the testing for everyone that's entering the ground and things like that. But the possibility of it being on TV as well is another bonus as well, that we're actually going to get to see it.
It is, but I think in terms of the finances, again, and we go back to what happened last summer. The people in charge of the club, people like Neil Pinkerton, they want to take on this decision easily. And to be honest, I know they haven't because I've spoken with them. They've considered every single option, and they've considered every possibility that can happen through doing this, and they are still safeguarding the future of the club.
Yeah,
I think Neil said that the reward doesn't necessarily match the risk, but it's a chance to make an immediate return to the National League,
which would be something phenomenal as well, really, wouldn't it? As I say, we don't want to sound like a broken record. We always say, what's happened in the past, and we try to move past it. But with it only being recent history, and the chance of getting back to the National League, playing on the national stage after what's happened, would be an amazing story, wouldn't it?
Well, I've got a bit of an opinion piece coming out on the Sunderland Echo over the next couple of days where, we could have been looking at Gateshead having a second consecutive season in the Wayside League if things had have gone differently. Because that was floated last summer.
Yeah.
The thought of starting a Phoenix club in the Wayside League, and because of everything that's gone on, it would have been a second season in there. So the thought of being able to return to the National League, or at least have a chance to do it, is massive. And even if things don't go the way everyone wants them to at Brackley or in the semi-final or even the final, it's still been a brilliant 12 months for the club. It's been a year of progression. It's been a year of restoring damaged relationships with maybe supporters, with businesses, with the local community. And there's a lot of people at the club who deserve credit for that.
Exactly.
I was going to mention a few, but Alicia asked me if I'd give her a shout out, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people deserve a lot of credit, not least Mike Williamson and Ian Watson, because they've put a team on the pitch that's good to watch, and a team that have got results. And if again, I go back to how quickly the squad was put together. And just how well they've done with that. Foundation's already in place for next season, and let's just see what division it is in.
I mean, it's an absolute bonus. This, I mean, it's nice that we're getting to the opportunity to do it. I think everyone, in the heart of hearts, had just accepted that, well, that's it, the season's done. Let's just look to next year. And the budget booster was announced, and everything's been very positive. But it's got more positive again with this coming along, and it's just seemed to have been, like, as I say, the budget boosters proved that the region and obviously near and far, people see the club in a great light and are prepared to support it. And obviously the people behind the scenes are double prepared to support it and able to get us into these playoffs.
Well, I think in terms of the budget booster, when you look at the support it's had from various publications, from people, Newcastle and Sunderland supporters, the fanzines of Newcastle and Sunderland, they've promoted it. So it's really caught the imaginations, possibly overplaying it, but it's certainly garnered a lot of support from Newcastle and Sunderland supporters and, of course, Gateshead supporters. So to raise as much as it has is a massive bonus for the club. But yeah, as I said, in terms of the playoff decision, the likes of Neil and the board, they've thought about every aspect of this decision. The club's long-term health isn't at risk. It's a calculated decision, and hopefully the players and the management team can make the most of it.
Yeah, and as I say, the players, or the management team now, are already working hard on bringing in players. We've seen Jack Hunter return to the club, as well as George Smith last week. We would imagine there'll be a few more coming in, and that's been positive that we've been able to make an early start on those transfers.
Yeah, as well as players being retained for next season as well. There's been some, Greg Ollie, for example, getting done early was a big plus. But I think every player that stayed from last season, Nicky Deverdix, people like that, had a great impact last season. It's just, it feels settled. It feels ready to build on the foundations of I guess what is still this season now.
Yeah.
So no matter what league the club is in next year, there is a solid squad, or the foundation of a squad to build upon. I'm as you say, I'm certain there will be more players coming in.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. There are positions that need strengthened, or positions even that need filled. But that'll happen. The club have made a great start of the summer, and I'm sure that'll carry on no matter what happens in the playoffs.
Mark, going on to the playoffs, do you think, obviously York were pushing to get the second promotion place, do you think they have used the 120,000 by Jason McGill as a deterrent to try and put everyone off?
That's not an accusation I'd like to put out in my name in the public domain, if I'm honest. I mean, let's be honest. Without York, this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
They were the ones that kind of fueled the fire of rebellion, if you want to call it that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'll be quite open and honest. I don't even think the playoff should be taking place, because I think the decision that was made for steps 3 to 7 should have been the same one that was imposed on or taken by steps 1 and 2. So, but that's just me looking at the wider picture and looking at the integrity of the non-league pyramid, which I think has been compromised by this decision. But if Gateshead were to take advantage of it and start next season in the National League, then I won't be complaining. But fair play to York for doing it, because I do think they deserve to at least have a chance to go. They've had a good season, probably not as good as they thought they were going to have, but they've got a good squad, and they'll certainly be I'd imagine the favourites. But what you've got to think with Gateshead is they've got in on PPG. They've got in there when they didn't expect to get in. There's not a great amount of expectation to go and go up, I don't believe. The pressure's not on them. It's on the likes of York, who we know have got a competitive budget, to be kind. The pressure is on them to go up. So, Mike and the players can go in. Yes, there'll be pressure they'll put on themselves, but they can go in and have a right good go. And if they don't go up, then they don't go up. We'll go again next season.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my opinion on it is if you've done points per game, you don't have to play the playoffs. Just put the top two up anyway. That's my personal opinion. But now we've got the chance at the playoffs. Let's go for it.
Yeah, 100% agree. But I think, if it was me, if suddenly I was somehow made the head of the FA, which thankfully I'm not, I would have took the same decision right away across the non-league pyramid. I would have probably promoted Barrow to fill Bury's gap in the Football League, and that would have been that. And then you start again when it's safe for everyone to start again in front of supporters. But the decision was taken. I know obviously clubs aren't happy with it, but why can't Gateshead take advantage of it?
Well, it's 3 winnable games. I mean, we've got Jack, the Brackley fan, coming on, who's probably listening and thinking you've got no chance at our place. But we've beat Brackley at our place. Yeah, okay, it was early on in the season. We've beat Altrincham at our place. We beat Chester. We drew with York. We beat Boston away and home. That's
3 months ago now. The season's had a big stop, and it's like everyone's starting from square one, isn't it? As well.
I know, but it'll give the players the confidence.
Definitely.
Well, I think when you look at it, Brackley, we shouldn't forget. It's not so long ago they were FA Trophy winners.
Yeah.
You beat them. It's possibly going to be Boston, I think.
Is it Boston or Chester? But we haven't heard anything from Chester yet because Chester have said they're going to look at everything. But I would imagine we'll have an announcement within the next couple of days on that front.
So Boston or Chester away is going to be tough. Jono and Bernard will have Chester up for it. But Boston, of course, could be potentially their last game at their ground because they are moving.
Is it York Road or York Street?
And then you're probably going to York, who I think by then will probably be in the new stadium. So it's 3 tough games, no matter who you play. But again, I go back to there is no pressure, no external pressure on the players. So why not go and have a good go? And if it comes off, then wow, what a fairy tale that'll be.
Oh, you're telling me.
It certainly would. And I say, Mark, Football Matters is back, isn't it? Would love you to give it a plug because obviously you had Gateshead chairman on this week's episode on Monday night. Where's it available to watch?
That's pressure. So if you can watch it on YouTube on a Monday night, it comes out normally around 9:00. But it is available via a podcast. So it's available on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and you can download and listen from there. We do also have Football Matters Extra, which comes out later in the week, which is where myself, Ollie, and Darren Williams get set a different challenge every week. So that will come out as well on YouTube. And then we've got the Thursday night quiz as well. So
putting us to shame, aren't they?
So
at least
going on.
You've got too much going on. We got our legs out tonight on Facebook Live, and obviously we're kind of compete with that.
Well, I'll be honest. I switched it on Facebook Live, but when I saw your legs out, I turned it off. So.
Oh, thank you.
So I thought,
why were you jealous?
I was a little bit. But no, it's great to have the show back, and hopefully one day we'll get it back on TV, because I think particularly the non-league side of it was really appreciated by clubs around the region.
Definitely.
And having stuff like the highlights and getting big interviews on there from the non-league scene, just give it a bit more exposure. And we're very lucky up here to have such a vibrant non-league scene, full of clubs that are trying to progress. So hopefully we can give it another push and keep on telling everyone what a great non-league scene it is.
Well, fingers crossed, and we'll be pushing it. Who knows? We might even get to cover the game at Brackley. I think it's highly unlikely, isn't it, in these times with the COVID testing and things like that. But we can live in hope. But if not, we'll all be gathered around TVs watching it. And Mark, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
When's your piece out on the Think piece? Is it coming this week? Or?
Well, I'll have to double check on that one, but it should be later in the week.
All right. I'll look out for that, Mark.
Great stuff.
That's great. Thank you very much, Mark.
Take care, Mark.
Soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That was Mark Carruthers there. Give him a follow on Twitter and on Facebook. There is messages on the Facebook thing. We've got it up eventually. I didn't want to have the noise of it feeding back, but I've got it sorted. Apparently, Chris Beers is already sorting his Torquay away trip next year.
Is he?
A little bit presumptuous. What if Torquay go up? Or Torquay not in the playoffs, are they not?
I don't know.
I don't know. But keep the messages coming in there. That would be great. We'll have a little look on Twitter. We're going to have Ben Clark ringing us very soon. Let's have a little look. We've already read that one out from Heed Lad. But if you've got any more, send them in.
On the chat facility?
On the chat facility, Taylor Howie's put, not sure where to look on Facebook. It's the Heed Army Podcast Live page, and you'll see us broadcasting live on there now. And
I wouldn't if I was you, Taylor.
Well, I just had a little look at the video there, Mickey, and it looks like you've got a camel's toe.
Oh,
so,
my word.
Yes, I know. So Mickey's going to have to sort that gusset out. Andy Mason's put, the only players we have played... sorry, one second, I'll read this out again. The only players we have played throughout the season will be interesting to see if they will convince Barrow, Oliver and Lees to come back. More importantly, would Barrow allow James to come in? Well, I don't know if players have been released or non-negotiated. I don't know if they would try and bring them back. Well, obviously, we've seen Smith has already been brought in as a replacement for Barrow, so I think that's probably a non-starter. But I'm not in the club, so I don't know. But Mick Scully's put, I believe there's a chance of that new signing could still play in the games. I think Neil said that the league would look at each player on case-by-case basis. I did notice that with the Jack Hunter, it said subject to FA ratification. Yeah. So that's
just
the case.
Most of them are putting that now.
Yeah, if that's the case, surely they have to allow new players to replace any players that have been released. And Thomas Boyles, but could you commentate from your home games? There isn't any home games on because we finished last in the playoffs. We would have to be playing at all levels away from home. And as I say, it's up to the home team. We haven't heard anything official yet. We have put feelers out, and I think there's a cat just had a poo in my garden. Weren't expecting that, were we? I haven't even got a cat.
It was funny though.
I
Just
know.
was one of the things of the show.
I know. Well, there we go. All of a sudden, we've got a litter tray.
You should have seen how straight its tail went.
Did it? Oh, well, we should have turned the camera. We could have had that. That would have been the highlight of the show. Didn't bury it. Anyway, as I was saying there, we have asked about it, but the COVID testing as well is quite expensive. So I don't think we would do that. But I think we've got Ben Clark on the phone now.
Just in time.
Hello, Ben.
Hi, mate. You all right?
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Not a problem.
Ben, it's a pleasure to have you back at the club, and you're back with the foundation. And how are you finding it?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, I did it before the role with James Curtis, absolute legend, and we got the program up and running to where it was a full-time job. And obviously, this situation with last year with the owners, I'll not say the names, they decided that they didn't want to continue with the program, and it was really disappointing because myself and James and other people at the time at the staff, we got it up to a program where we were busy all the time, and obviously I went away for a year. I went to Newcastle on loan, just a little loan period, so I went over there to go on loan, and I've come back now, and it's been great. We have 8 trustees on board. I know you've spoken to some of them, great people, supporters, and who do fantastic work, and it's been really good.
Yeah, I would say it's been a bit of a strange start for you, though, isn't it, with the lockdown? But you've adapted to it, and you've kept the foundation reaching out to people, even though we've been in these strange times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially for myself, because I don't know if you were, I don't do any social media. I never have done. The lads used to take the mickey out when we used to travel. I think I had a Nokia phone for about 20 years, and they always used to take the mickey out.
Is that the guy where you wore his boots, Ben?
Yeah, old school. Like I used to play like Snake on the bus, and the lads all would have the phone like that. But so I was old school, and I didn't really know. Like I said, at Facebook or any of this kind of thing, and it's been great for me to use this kind of stuff. And we've reached out, and like I said, we've got great people from the foundation. Like Ross has been brilliant. Ross Black, he does all the stuff. So we've been doing lots of videos and things like that. We've had our Here at Home service, which has been absolutely brilliant, to be fair. I'll just mention one bloke in particular. Do you know Peter Walton? Peter's from Wales. He's a Wales supporter, a bit of a Heat historian.
Yeah.
Yeah, great bloke. I mean, he's 74-year-old and he's become one of my best mates just through the chats that we're having. I know Peter won't mind us like mentioning him, but it's been really good. Then you have the things with Stephen obviously shaved his hair off for the foundation.
Yeah, I was seeing that. Yeah.
So it's been really good. I must admit, I've got a great team behind us, and like I say, we've adapted ways that we can think we could help the community and things like that. We're always trying to think of any ways. So this is just a little bit of a plug. So if anybody, supporters listening, if there's anything you can think we could do in the borough, I mean, we would love to help.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Ben, I spoke before the lockdown to Stephen, and there's the team's community centre. Now, they've got a men's group on a Tuesday. I was hoping that I can have a word with the guy who runs it and maybe get some of the walking football teams from there as well. So, obviously, when the community centre opens, I'll open dialogue with them and then I'll get back to you.
Oh, Mickey, that would be absolutely superb, mate. That would be brilliant, because I think walking football is something that we're really passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's probably where I'm at now. So that's probably good enough for me. I can do the walking
I'm
football.
sure you could still lace up your boots for the first team, Ben.
I'm waiting for Mike to give us a call. Like, he's not rang. Like, I just think
Well, he's bringing that many old players back. You've got a chance, Ben.
I'd walk into that team.
Walk being the operative word.
It's been a pleasure to see the foundation's posts on social media as well, because it's been another fantastic string to the club's bow. Fantastic bow to the. We'll get it out. Another string to the club's bow. Of reaching out. In this time, it's kept the club prominent and kept the club helpful as well, because obviously you mentioned there about people ringing up to talk when they need to, and that's, as I say, in this time there's no shame in talking about mental health, and it's been lovely to see the foundation reaching out on that front.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, lad. We just want to try and help in the best ways we can. I just think the whole football club, like from the football first team to the foundation, obviously we have the ladies team now, the board, the supporters trust, the appeals, it just seems so everybody's pulling in the right direction. And through this little time where it has been difficult for everybody, we've just tried to keep everybody's spirits high. We're all working together. Then we've had this fantastic news about the lads being in the playoffs. It's just, I think the whole club itself, we're all pulling in the right direction, and it's really, I'm really proud to be part of it, and it's just going really well.
Yeah, the positivity just seems to keep coming, doesn't it, each week?
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I said, compared to last year, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I think everybody I know you've probably mentioned it before, but there's so many unsung heroes that you don't really hear about.
Yeah.
From the people, the staff at the club, supporters, the everywhere. And obviously, Mike and Busted have done absolutely fantastic, recruited really well, and the lads have bought into it. And I mean, it's just been absolutely brilliant.
Do you think?
The thing is, I've said to a couple of people already, it's top dogs again, non-league top dogs again. And I'm playing golf with Jamesy, Baxter and Phil tomorrow, so I absolutely can't wait for that.
Do you think the little spell you had in charge is rubbed off on Mike and Busted?
Well, when we did it together, we did it as a three anyway.
Yeah.
And at the time, I just needed to go away because it did take its toll on me a little bit. It was just a case of I just needed to get away, and we
Before you
worked
murdered
together
somebody.
as it is. Mike had so much input when I was a manager anyway.
Yeah.
And from the start, when they said the lads were going to go for it, I mean, there was talks about, they'd ask me if I wanted to get involved with it, and at the time I said, listen lads, it's not for me, I need to walk away, but I give them the blessing, I don't need me blessing, I just said to Alicia and my, people that were employing, I said, listen, give it to Mike and Busted because they know the club. Mike and Busted are so driven, and I had no qualms that they would do such a good job, and they've been brilliant. So yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant.
It certainly has, and as I say, we'll go a little bit down memory lane. But obviously, when you took over, I had the pleasure of being on the team bus when we went to Salford for I think it was your first game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Salford, and I remember you being a little bit nervous and jovial on the bus, but you couldn't ask for more on the day from the lads, could you, down there? Because we really should have come away with all 3 points.
Yeah, it was a special day for me, that to play for the club for so long, to captain the club. Like I said, I've captained the club at Wembley, which was brilliant. But that day at Salford will probably be up there with my top 3 times at the club, because to manage a club, it was just fantastic. And like you said, the lads were absolutely brilliant. I think it was 2 sides to the game. We were excellent first half. We kept the ball really well and played some lovely football. And then second half, we had to really dig in. And I knew after that game, I thought, we'll do all right here, because the lads showed 2 different styles.
Yeah.
They showed that give them time on the ball and they'll hurt people because they've got good players. Then the other side of thing, which is more pleasing for me, I think any match, when it gets tough, and they're a good side. They're a really good side, and they dug in. And yeah, I can't speak highly of the lads. They're absolutely outstanding.
Certainly. We've got a couple of comments that have come in already. Dave Allen's put, going to make my walking football comeback. We've got one from Taylor Howie. I daresn't think where you would shave, but he's put, did you not fancy braving the shave for the foundation?
You know what it is? I offered it, but at the end of the day, I couldn't go through with it. I just couldn't do it.
I certainly didn't want to see the video of it.
And Mick Scully sent in a message. He's put, does Ben still harbour dreams of returning to management?
I think I've been scarred enough. So I believe that, like I said, I loved my job before I got the manager's job. I love the community work, and I've had 20 years in the game of wanting to win on a Saturday. It became a thing of you have to win.
Yeah.
And I think to be a manager, you have to be 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So the case, I tell you just what it was like for me last year was we play a game, then if you won the game, it was like relief for a couple of hours. You thought, oh God, that's great, that. But then on a Sunday, you would watch the game back, and you'd watch a game for who you were playing, the opponent. So you would do all that, and I just think you had to be at it 24/7, and I just thought to myself, I don't think really I really want to. You never say never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the moment, not at the moment.
I suppose maybe under different circumstances. Obviously every management job has stress, but without the stresses that were involved, it might be a more appealing situation for you if it arises in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could write. Honestly, some of the stories I could tell you wouldn't believe.
Fire away, Ben. I'm here all night.
Oh, we'll get taken off the air. But Ben, obviously, you joined from Hartlepool, and at the time it was a bit of a shock because you're a Hartlepool favourite at the time, and you dropped down to Gateshead. How did that come about?
Well, what it was is, to be fair to me, last year at Hartlepool, I didn't play enough games. I got injured pre-season, and I missed a lot of the games, and there was other clubs interested, but it was a case of moving away.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, my wife just had another baby, and I'm very family orientated, and I want to be around for my kids and things like that. But I went and met Bogues, and to be fair, Bogues sold us the dream, really. I went to the Bogues and I met Graham, and we went around the stadium, and he showed us the plans of the new stadium that was coming. I'm still waiting now, like, but all right. But we had the new stadium. It looked really good. To be fair, the club offers a really good contract as well, and I thought, I want to be at home. I want to take my kids to school. I want to be able to pick them up, and I did that. And honestly, it was the best decision that I've ever made.
We had some good times, didn't we? It wasn't like it was all a struggle, but I mean, some seasons were stranger than others. But what about the season when the pitch died and we were all over the place?
Unbelievable. Oh, you've got a home game, lads. We were playing Boston. All right, let's get on the bus, lads. We're off to Boston.
Did you know that was only 33 mile more for Newport?
So they had the home game, didn't they?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I think we withdrew as well, didn't we? We drew them.
Noted.
And of course,
from home, we were absolutely. I remember we were bussing on the bus going home. the cans were out and all sorts. We had a good trip that day.
But I mean, we had a few games at Hartlepool, so it was a home from home for you, probably in them games. But
that was fine for me. I used to take the mickey out the lads all the time, obviously, because I played in the Football League. And I was better than them, so I used to say that, lads, don't worry about it. You'll be all right, lads. This is a Football League pitch. You'll be all right. Things like that. But no, to be fair, it just shows, I think, the football community as well. There were a lot of clubs were good for us. even the ones that were green and white, they went to their pitch and won again, which was great.
I love that, Ben. That's the type of spirit I like.
We've got another question for you from Mick Scully's. But are the club looking to restart coaching weeks for kids when things get back to normal?
Oh, it's a great question. We just obviously at the minute we're governed by the guidelines, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we're going to try and put out some dates for some holiday courses through the foundation. We're just waiting on ticky boxes and things like that, and make sure everything's in order for that to happen. But yeah, it's definitely something within the next couple of weeks we're looking to promote.
So is that like a DBS, Ben? Is it?
Yeah, it's all sorts. Your DBS, how many kids you can get. Obviously, we've got an issue with the toilets and things like that, and finding the right facilities, because the stadium at the minute that's in total lockdown, and I think that's going to be for a couple more weeks, I would think. So it's just finding the right venue, anything like that. So we're going to do some research. We're going to have a look around the borough and see where there's anything we can get, some space where we can get some activities going, really.
Yeah, and I've got a couple more questions. I'm sure Mickey's got a couple as well.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about, obviously, the Grimsby semi-final at home, and knowing that you're going to be leading the team out at Wembley. That must... Did you sleep at all in the build-up to the final?
Oh, it's the best day I've ever had in my football career. It was just, to see the stadium that full, it was just unbelievable. And I think the brand of football that we played as well, I think it was just, I think a lot of people bought into it. And that day and that night, I tell you, wow, what a night that was.
I was going to say, did you just go out on the night time after Grimsby?
Well, we did. I think we went out until the day before the playoff final.
Classic. Get in. I bet Millsy was right at the front now.
We had a great night. I remember we went to Newcastle, and I think we were in the posh end, and a couple of lads were like, "Harry lads, this is not us." Like, so we ended up in the big market. It was absolutely
classic.
Oh, amazing! Brilliant. And I just want to ask you, who was the best player you played with during your whole time at Gateshead?
Oh, there's some good ones. I have to speak to my mate. My mate's definitely up there. The Big Red, absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Marcus Maddison, he was just special. He could do things that...
Yeah.
He was just... Phil Turnbull, I've got to mention Johnny Ostad. I've made some... But for consistency, I'd have to say James. I just think every week you could rely on him. He was reliable. But for natural talent, I would say Marcus.
Yeah.
So James and Marcus, they were definitely the two that stood out.
Couldn't argue with that. But, I mean, without blowing smoke up your backside, yourself and James must have been one of the best centre-back pairings for about 4 years. I think.
Longer.
You are really... You had each other. You had the well. Each
I'm not blowing smoke up your backside neither. Curtis and Clark were up there with Wrightson and Kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, that means a lot. Do you know what it was? He pushed me every day. Do you know what it was? I wanted to get man of the match every week. And it was always him. Oh God, he's got it again. What's going on? It's the same in training. We used to be on opposite teams all the time, and like I wanted to beat him all the time, and he always beat us. And I used to get the balls and break them away, and I would go off in a huff like that, and he would just text us later on, going, "Lucky son," and all this. So we pushed each other all the time. We had such a good friendship.
Yeah.
It just worked, and he pushed me, and I like to think that I pushed him as well.
Yeah.
But he was easy to play with because the ball was in the air. I just go, James, just go and head it, pal. And he would just go at it.
Yeah, I think we can count on one hand the amount of times he missed a header, because it was very few and far between, was it?
I mean, he was unbelievable, like really brave. I remember it was like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. He kept getting cuts.
Aye.
Yeah.
He kept getting cuts on his head. I used to come in laughing my head off. Why is it never you? I said, because I don't put my head in there.
Well, was it Luton where half the fans went down with the ginger wigs with the bandages round?
Absolutely brilliant. But I think we complemented each other, and like I said, I just think it worked. I think in the end, we probably needed a bit more competition between us, because I think we knew that we'll probably play all the time.
Yeah.
But you kept seeing it off, Ben, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, when anyone was brought in, if either you were dropped, it didn't last long, did it? And the partnership was back.
Yeah.
I mean, to
I
me...
appreciate that, lads.
To me...
I'll give you a tenner later.
20.
To me, Mags would have been an absolute fantastic centre-half.
He was a very good player.
But
Very
he
good
couldn't. He was
footballer.
never going to dislodge you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Paul's one of them. He could play anyway. He played left back. He could play centre midfield. Centre half. I think he's probably best if he was centre half. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had the curse of being versatile, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, but Ben, you got any more questions?
Oh, I've got a few more
go on,
questions.
I'll let you get into them.
Oh,
We'll let them go.
You're on about Marcus Maddison.
Yeah.
Have you any idea what Millsy actually said to him? Because I've asked Millsy time and time again what he said to him, and he wouldn't say anything. Because I reckon his attitude, he was turning up late, and then all of a sudden, I mean, Chester looked like he was going to go.
He came off before half time, didn't he?
Aye, and then apparently Mills has sat him down, and after that, he was just completely different in the summer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, when he came back this last game against Torquay, he looked like a Premier League player because his space, his awareness, he just looked phenomenal.
I think that's what Gary was so good at. His man management skills were really good. And I can remember myself and Mickey Cummins pulled Marcus as well and said, Marcus, don't waste what you've got. You've got such a talent that people would like. They would want that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the penny dropped with him. And like you said, that Torquay game was the only game where I thought that was a 10 out of 10 performance.
Yeah.
It was absolutely unplayable. And to me, he's done really well since, but I think he can do more. I still think he can do more. You look at him and you think, oh, he can do so much more. But then again, he's probably happy with what he's doing. But I think
he'll be in the Championship again next season. I think maybe he's
a very strange one going to Hull.
I think
it was.
Well, obviously we don't know the details, but I think maybe his contract happening, the release clause probably had something to do with him not moving up higher sooner. But fingers crossed.
Darren Ferguson, he obviously, I think he gets the best out of him. Peterborough, he seemed to get, because there was talk about Sunderland, wasn't there? Sunderland were interested in him.
I think the 2 or 3 transfer windows, but there was always that release clause that was the problem, I think. But Ben, hopefully we can have you on again, and hopefully when it's safe to have you on, we can have you here as a guest and
definitely, lads.
Reminisce a bit more. But as I say, fantastic stuff with the foundation, and keep it up. And it's been a pleasure.
It is fantastic.
That's great, lads. I really appreciate it.
Well, the kids loving it as well. Seem to be.
For the time, lads.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Ben. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care, Ben. Watch what you're doing.
Bye. Whoop. There we go, an absolute legend, Ben Clark there, and pleasure to speak to him, lovely lad, and I'm sure if there's anyone follow the foundation, Gateshead FC Foundation on all social media, you'll see the fantastic work that he's doing. Are you going to the toilet, are you?
I need to go now.
Right, well that leaves us, we're going to have Jack, I think his second name's Bannon, I think he's been watching, he's going to be ringing us very shortly, we're going to be speaking to him, Brackley fan, but if you want to send us a message, please do so. Sorry if I didn't get to read your message out to Ben, just we were having a great chat with him there, and obviously we'll be able to get him back on hopefully and do it again. So at @Heed_Army if you'd like to message us on Twitter. If you're listening on Spreaker, you can message on the Spreaker website, and of course if you're sitting there, if you've got us on your telly or if you've got it watching on your phone, you can message us here on Facebook. So don't be a stranger, and we'll be back next week. We don't know who we're going to have for guests yet. We may try and reach out to Jack Hunter and people like that, and we'll see, organise a show for next week, and if it's nice and sunny like this, we'll be doing it outside again. I say it's not sunny now, but we've got a big light on keeping us lit up, illuminated here. So just have a little look to see if there's any more messages. And Mickey is pointing Percy at the porcelain, and he'll be back very, very shortly and having a look. Here we are. I think we've got Jack on the phone now. Hello there, is that Jack?
Yes, it is.
Hello there, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. Well, we had the confirmation about an hour before we came on air that Brackley are going to be taking part in the playoffs.
Yes, I saw that. I don't really know what to think of it, but...
Yeah, see, after we went off air, myself and Mickey, we had a little chat, and we were probably 90% sure it wasn't going to happen. You know,
my intentions were we weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
But now we have confirmation, haven't we? So let's look forward to it.
Certainly. And has there been any inkling about players coming back or potential signings?
I've not heard about that. This is the only day I've really heard of it, so hopefully we'll find out more
in the next week.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, do you think York will think,
I think York will be scared now.
I genuinely feel that as well. I'm the same as you, Jack. I mean, as I've said earlier on the podcast, we know going down to your place is going to be really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
If all 6 teams take part, any one of them teams can win.
I think so.
I think it's a very open playoffs.
Yeah, I think.
I'll joke about it. I mean, I want us to beat you, and no doubt you want to hammer us. I think whoever wins this game has got equally as good a chance as any of them teams in there.
Boston away, we've beaten them. We love beating them.
We beat them 3-0 down there and 3-0 at home.
Yeah, it's a very, very open playoffs, and as I say, what's the consensus been with your fellow Brackley fans? 'Cause I'm sure you have been speaking just as much as we have. Did you think it was going to happen, or are you happy it's happening in general amongst the fans?
Some of them were going to happen, and some of them weren't going to. I don't know. They were undecided really, but now it's happening. We can look forward to it.
Yeah.
Is it more a case of not for the risk of the club?
I think we got good enough backing for money wise.
Yeah.
But how much will the coronavirus test cost?
Well, I looked in the hope of hopefully being able to do the commentary on the game, and I think it's about 100 privately. I don't know if you get a group discount if you're getting your squad done, but privately it ranged between £129 to £180.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so unfortunately it looks like we're not going to be able to do the commentary on the game, but saving grace, it looks like it's going to be on BT Sport.
If it's not on BT Sport, I believe our local radio is covering it.
Yeah. I'd imagine obviously they'll be able to do it, or maybe even Radio Newcastle from up here might go down. But because obviously they're covering Newcastle games at the moment, so they're COVID tested. So you'd imagine that would would imagine they'd be able to do it. But I mean, I suppose that's the thing. Are you seeing it like us? Is it a bonus to the end of the season now?
It is a bonus because I don't know what you don't think about us, but I think we deserve it.
Without a doubt, you were embedded. You were embedded in the playoffs. We got there. We always hoped we were good enough to get in there, but you were embedded.
Well, we had the games in hand.
Yeah.
And the run were on, but the last game where we got beat off Kings Lynn, and the only difference between it was a Norwich loanee. That's Simon Power. I don't know if you've seen him play. He was absolutely fantastic for them.
Yeah.
And that was the main difference between the two sides. And I genuinely thought we could get into the playoff positions, but after the summer we'd had previous, I wasn't really bothered about getting in the playoffs. I still believe points per game York should have gone up. Why run the risk of this? But now we're in it. Let's gone for it.
Yeah.
York, no doubt you are the same.
Yeah.
Well, the statement put out by Brackley just about 8 o'clock said they're raring to go. So obviously,
the chairman said we're raring to go, and so hopefully, I don't really know what to think about it.
Yeah,
you stand with it, man, Jack.
Yeah, we've got to enjoy it. But I mean, we've signed a couple of players in the last week. I think one was already signed for next season, but obviously it's come in handy. Obviously with this coming, but we signed a player yesterday, and obviously in the press release it said that it was subject to FA ratification. So that's whether he can play or not. You would imagine, because we're signing a player from the same level, you would hope that, and if Brackley do the same, you would imagine that these players will be allowed to play. Well, they'd have to for Brackley, because you only had 9 players last week, you told us.
Yeah, no, we got 10 now.
Oh, 10 now, yeah.
Well, we've got 11, so we're nearly there, mate.
One of us will have to play.
Bring your boots.
Yeah, I don't think me on my crutches would do very well, but it is very interesting, isn't it? I mean, we spoke to you this time last week, and we were a bit pessimistic, and we kind of hoped that, well, at the time, I think we've both had the comments that both had the consensus. We thought just let York go up and be done with it. But now
Yeah.
we hear it's sunk in. We've had the confirmation tonight from Brackley, and it's quite exciting because I mean,
It's quite, yeah, I'm excited now.
yeah.
It is exciting. I've got to be honest.
I mean, I've got a lot of friends and the post on Facebook and Twitter, the Premier League's back and stuff, but it doesn't bother me. I haven't got a horse in the race. It's it's just boring. But now we've got a chance of doing it. Then wow, it's going to be a nice 3-4 weeks in build up, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got to ask you, Jack.
Yeah.
If you were picking a Brackley player for Player of the Year, who would it be?
I don't think I should tell you.
One that was released.
No, just who should we really be watching out for?
There's quite a few. Our striker, Leon Love.
Aye.
I think, well, he's second top goal scorer in the league.
All right.
Our centre back, Gaz Dean. He's, I think, another quality top centre back.
So we're talking to Spain.
It's safe to say that you kept the Spain of the team, the players that you want to build around.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of good players in our squad.
Yeah. There's quite a good, I mean, I know you're being very secretive, but we've got quite a few good players, and if you want us to tell you, I'll tell you.
But no, as I say, it's just a nice feeling, isn't it? Having this,
it's nice, and it sounds pretty pedantic, but whoever wins between who wins, I wish Brackley is obviously.
Yeah.
I wish yous luck as well. Obviously, I want us to win.
Yeah.
But I will say, if Brackley win, I hope he's gone on and win it.
Yeah. For example, if York lose in the semi-final,
How funny would that be?
it would be quite funny. I don't know but, they'll say, playoffs shouldn't have happened.
Oh, well, I don't know if they could do that after how vocal they've been and pushed it, but you would imagine it would be a real kick in the teeth for them, wouldn't it?
They can't do that. You can't. It's just like saying, play heads or tails, best of 3, and then you win 2-1, and then say we'll make it best of 5. So they can't go on with that. So at the end of the day, they've pushed for it. I mean, there must be odds-on favourites, and looking at their squad, they should go up.
Yeah, they should. York should go up. Are you full-time?
Yes, we're full-time.
Yeah, we're full-time.
Okay.
I mean, they should still go up.
What full-time clubs are in the league? What in the playoffs right now? Is Chester full-time?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I'm not actually sure about Chester, to be fair. Yeah. We are. I don't know if Boston are. York definitely are.
Yeah.
Brackley are not. We're definitely not.
Yeah.
Right, you're not.
So
No.
Altrincham are not.
yeah.
I'll tell you what, they're a dark horse as well.
Yeah, Aldrin were decent against us.
Sorry, Jack, go on.
Do you think full-time will matter?
I think when it comes to training, obviously our lads don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
Which could probably give them longer on the training field to build the fitness up, but in a playoff position, I think anything goes.
There's a few things to take into fact. We've got the heat, right? That's gonna be a leveler. Regardless of when it is, even if it's played on an evening, it's gonna be warm. You know what I mean? And the players haven't played for a while. There's fit and there's match fit. We know that. The players can run all they want and have a bit of a kick about. It's not going to be like 90 minutes. The first playoff game, adrenaline will get through. It's how many injuries you pick up on it's the second game is going to be the killer, I think, for either club that gets through. I think that's going to be the thing. But being full time, it is going to help. But I don't know what a 2-week training regime against training a few times a week.
And we're doing the travelling as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I think travelling from Gateshead to Brackley is a long.
Yeah, it's
long-
a good 4 hours in a car, isn't it? So if you're on coach,
Will you? I don't know if you know. Will they be using a bus at all?
I would imagine so.
They're talking. There was a football show on up here called Football Matters,
Yeah.
and they're talking about going down the day before. If they can't get a coach, they're talking about carpools with 2 players per car, and depending on where they can get to stay, the same players.
Because what? Yeah, carry on.
The same players will share the room in the cars.
Because what Boris has said,
Oh,
1 metre rule now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Restaurants, pubs, cafes, hotels can open now.
yeah.
But I suppose if there's COVID testing, there's no problem with the 2 players being in the car if they've both tested negative. So yeah, it is a strange one, but of course everything changes after the 4th of July, doesn't it? And the games would be after that. So we'll just have to see how that goes. And we've got a message from Mick Scully's put York have the most to lose, so the pressure is on them really. The winners of Brackley Gateshead could have an advantage if they had the competitive game under their belts before they play Boston and possibly York or the other teams that's up there.
That's a very good point. That.
Yeah,
Very good point.
That is a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, that they might have practice games, but it won't be the same as a
It
competitive
won't be.
match.
It won't be the same, will it?
No. And also as well, I mean, I haven't watched many of the Premier League games, but we're in the summer. When we watch the European Championships and World Cups, there's a lot of cramp goes on in the summer as well. I know there's water breaks and stuff, but as I said before, there's so many different factors, and I think it's a complete level playing field between every team.
As well.
Yeah,
because the pitches are born hard.
Yeah,
the blisters is a big problem.
Do you reckon it'll be like a pre-season friendly in some sort of way?
I think energy levels probably a competitive one, but I think it doesn't matter who we play. If we were playing York in the first game, I think 70 minutes in, you're going to start to see players flag and cramp up.
What we've seen in the Premier League, 5 subs.
Yeah,
and if you can get if you can get 16 players all signed on and put them all on the bench, you can make 5 subs, can't you?
Yeah. You see that's
allowed.
Yeah, if it's allowed, I mean, hopefully we can fill that quota and Brackley as well. But yeah, it's all ifs and buts, and we're going to be finding out more in the next week, of course. But,
I imagine we'll find out more.
Yeah.
We're talking the National League as well, Jack, aren't we? I mean, to be honest, they've cocked this up big time.
Yeah.
So whether we can have 5 subs or not, we'll probably not find out until about 3 minutes before kick-off.
More than likely.
Yeah, because I don't know what we're going to do, but behind one end, you can sit on a bank and watch a game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Everybody back to Jack's house afterwards as well.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for you on BT Sports, Jack. Hopefully, we can talk to you before the game actually happens and enjoy the build-up, because it's been lovely to speak to you. And as I said last week, I wish you all the best if you beat us. And it's just one of them things. It's a bonus. It's an extra game and a bit of excitement for us.
Yeah, we got how many weeks we got left?
July 18th or 19th, isn't it? So
about 3 weeks.
Yeah,
4 or 5 weeks. 4 weeks
no,
at the most.
3.5 or something. Well, in that ballpark. You can tell maths is neither of a strong point there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old enough. I've got a no level in it. But
yeah, but Jack, as I say, we'll definitely keep in touch, and hopefully we can have you on the week before the game, and we'll have a bit banter then, and hopefully you'll find out you've got more players then as well, and us the same. Yeah.
And what was that centre forward called, Mr. Love?
Not telling you that.
we're just going to put a word in. Fancy if you see we want to come full time. That was all.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm sure you'll see it. I'm sure you'll find him.
Yeah.
We'll probably will when he's knocked 4 past or something.
Famous last words. But Jack, it's been a pleasure to speak to you again, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. And stay safe.
Yeah, you too. And yeah, see you soon.
Take care, Jack. Watch what you're doing, bud.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, bye.
Bye. Well, we'll stay on another couple of minutes if anyone else wants to ring us. The phone number is 077 494 55002. That's 077 494 55002. And
I'll tell you what, Mickey Scully made one hell of a statement there, getting the competitive game in. to both, really, isn't it? Because who's Altrincham and Chester?
Yeah. Well,
So-
the thing is as well, we haven't heard anything from Chester. I haven't heard anything from Altrincham yet. I haven't really looked because I've been obviously just waiting to find out what we're doing and if it's going to happen. It looks like it is now. There's definitely 4 teams wanting to take part: York, ourselves, Brackley, and Boston. So we're waiting on confirmation of we're waiting on confirmation of Altrincham and Chester. And Chester, I think, might be doubtful. I might be wrong.
Don't know.
But reading between the lines. But then again, Brackley were the same. Didn't know exactly what was going to happen.
Like I said before, Altrincham are real dark horses because they absolutely swamped us when we played them down there.
Yeah. Sam Pelton put a message that must have been when we were on the phone to Ben. Sorry, I didn't read it out at the time.
It's come up before.
One of the teams that one of the games that turned Marcus Madison around was the 3-3 draw at Halifax. That was on New Year's Day, where we were 3-1 down, and he came on and grabbed a deserved point.
Him and Marzi were fantastic in that game.
Yeah. Well, as I say, we'll stay on. If anyone does want to message us, you can message us at Heat_Army, and you can ring us on 077 494 55002. But what a show. We've had some good calls there.
We had some good calls and good comments.
And also as well, we've had some nice views on Facebook as well. And
apart from me having looked like I had a camel's hoof.
well, as I say, that's the... Well, I've just got straw legs. Look at that.
I tell you what, my legs are whiter than my shorts.
They are. But yeah, massive thank you to everyone that's got involved tonight. It's been good. We hoped it would work well, and it seems as though it has. So we'll be hoping to do this in the future. Hopefully, if the weather's nice next week, we'll do it again. If not, it'll be back on the phone. See, we've been able to socially distance. This is an optical illusion. This is definitely 2 meters, by the way.
We're a meter. We're allowed a meter now.
Well, nearly on the 4th. But yeah,
it's on the 4th, is it?
yeah. But big thank you to everyone, and Mickey, thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure coming.
It certainly has. And well, we'll leave it there.
Sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Well, I'm going to say goodbye and switch this off. If Mickey could get up and knock the camera off, that would be great.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if he just presses finish on the other end. So we're going to say goodbye on Facebook. That's the end from us. And we're going to say goodbye on Spreaker. So thank you very much to everyone that joined us. And we will see you. And Thomas Boyles put #National League, here we come.